Never get bored walking through the tropical rainforest. We slowly walk, looking overhead for movements in the canopy of wildlife, seasonal changes in new seeding, and flowering trees. I always carry fond memories of my art teacher at age 13 pointing out the detailed beauty in trees. University years opened my mind to creative brilliance of Renaissance artists Michelangelo and Leonardo da Vinci.
Leonardo da Vinci in around 1490 created the illustrations for the Divine Proportion, a book about mathematics written by Luca Pacioli around 1498 and first published in 1509. In the book, Pacioli writes about mathematical and artistic proportion, particularly the mathematics of the golden ratio. The golden ratio is a natural electromagnetic geophysical fingerprint that preceded man's formulation of mathematics. It is a special number equal to about 1.618 known as pi in mathematics and appears in all nature, geometry, art, and architecture. The basic geometry for the golden ratio is the triangle of three sides considered to be the trinity of our divine creator and fingerprint of God's creation. Previously in 1228 Leonardo Pisano Fibonacci knowledge led to a sequence of numbers that the Western world knows as the sacred Fibonacci sequence. This ratio, as observed numerically, is in absolute oneness of universal design. The golden ratio, as it is known to those seeking to discern the underlying architecture of the cosmos, is a ratio apprised in quantum physics and in the overall creation of galaxies. This number 6 spiral torus is in every Gentile baby born on planet Earth. The universe is in everyone designed by the supernatural Trinity Creator, master artist of all life. The golden ratio isn't just a number or proportion, it is a reminder of the inherent oneness that exists within our universe. It can be observed in nature within human DNA and even within the anatomical structure of certain flowers and plants. Some shapes, such as dodecahedrons and icosahedrons, have inherent golden ratios in their dimensions and spatial positions of their intersecting lines. The golden ratio flows as oneness to the Gentile human body. All beautiful shapes in nature and can be seen in universal galaxies. It can be seen in tornadoes, hurricanes, and water spiraling down a drain. In a mathematically identical continuous pattern golden spiral continuously winding through golden square tiles. This also resembles a Fibonacci 6 spiral at larger values as they approach affinity. Sequences, tiles, and spirals may all exhibit pi, but there are plenty of different ways to observe this ratio. The existence of the Fibonacci sequence and golden ratio preceded mathematics, as it can be observed in nature within human DNA and even within the anatomical structure of certain flowers. The spiral gives perfect balance and harmonic resonance in creation and in humans. When the human hand makes a fist, the spiral becomes visible. The human ear is designed in the spiral just as is the chambered nautilus seashell is designed and in the human Gentile fingerprint. Michelangelo's creation of Adam painting depicts the golden ratio spiral of God Trinity Creator's index finger touching the index finger of Adam, creating the first human Gentile man. Filled with all the 7 rainbow colors in a pinpoint of bright white light. The absolute point zero of all life in universe and on planet Earth.
Isn't it amazing that scientists at the United Nations, the atheist scientists who have used the human brain to dissect it, to look at it in all ways, to try to duplicate it, cannot duplicate it because it is the quantum brain. We humans are the quantum brain. Each one of us has the power within us, the oneness and the electric communication power with our Creator.
This is what atheist scientists who deny our Creator today call Einstein's entanglement. Electron particles spin the same as the human torus. Counterclockwise spins up and clockwise spins down. Water with memory reverses in the same spin in different hemispheres on our planet. Number 6 spins up and number 9 spins down. 6 comes out the left side intellect brain hemisphere of intention and 9 comes out of the right brain creative hemisphere. The Trinity Creator designed perfect balance in the human body. This energy resembles the three-part DNA and spiral sound wave resonance strand of infinite recycling in a loop through our human brains until our death. This resonance spirals upward to our Creator and spiral down through our brain in complete harmony. The symbology of number 6 is loving relationships and deep compassion. In biblical scripture, 6 symbolizes intellect, intention of man, human weakness, the evils of Satan, and the manifestation of sin. The deep essence of the number 9 is a concern for the welfare of humanity. The number 9 is a symbol of completeness. It is written in the Bible that the Messiah died exactly at the 9th hour of the day when he was crucified on the cross.
Here's to Albert Einstein and the vision he bestowed, to the few things I've learned and all the things I'll never know.
Niels Bohr, a Danish blue-eyed Gentile physicist, challenged Einstein's theory of relativity. Einstein was an atheist and stated, "I do not believe in a personal God." It appeared Niels Bohr was not an atheist when he stated, "The idea of a personal God is foreign to me," but went on to explain that science and religion use language differently, not that one is right and the other wrong. Einstein's theory of reality cannot be true. The scientific left-brain intellect cannot explain the phenomenon of protons. At the end of his life, Einstein wrote, "All these years of conscious brooding have brought me no nearer to the question, what are the light quanta?" Today, Bohr's theories are generally accepted. Niels Bohr once responded to his son's complaints about the obtuse nature of certain concepts in physics by saying, "You are not thinking. You are merely being logical." The physics of altered human consciousness deals with some conceptualizations that are not easily grasped or visually exclusively in the context of ordinary left-brain linear thinking. Quantum theory solved. All the answers are in the organic human body. The authentic single absolute Trinity Creator versus Satan and his non-human puppets believing in fake gods and idols, with left intellect brain scientists trying to destroy all creation on the planet and replace humans with their artificial intelligent fake technology, computers and robots.
This is a torus. It's a necklace made out of a 6, and this is a crystal. And the crystal is very important because it's similar to our body. It picks up resonance and sounds and vibration. The crystal was used with the first radio, where copper wire is wrapped around the crystal, so it's a matter of copper wire and crystal that creates the radio signals. So the old radios will be tuned in with the crystal. So this is the major communication for radio and communication, copper wire with the crystal. This is another necklace that shows the crystal in the middle, and it's got copper wire spiraling around the crystal as the torus, as the 6. If I put this on my right side of my head, on the feminine side, it will go in a circle. If I put it on the left side, which is my male intellect side, it will go in a straight line. In my right hand, the same frequency electromagnetic force is coming through my right hand as it is through my right brain on my right side. So if I put this over my right hand, it will start making a circle. Now this is on the right creative feminine side of my brain. Okay? And then on the left hand, it will hold it on the left hand, and it'll eventually make a straight line. Which is the male dominant intellect on the left hemisphere of all human brains. Okay. The crystal demonstrates how powerful the human body is, how sound resonance will go through the human body and reach the Creator, how it will work as a communication device through copper, and how copper demonstrates the phenomenon between the right hemisphere and the left hemisphere. As human beings, we never greet someone by extending our left hand. It's always our right hand that we extend out for our handshake. That's the sign of love, the feminine understanding, and the sign of humanity.
There are trillions of cells, molecules, and atoms in human body replaced every 7 years. We are a virtual communication tower body of crystals in a field of electromagnetic frequency sound resonance recycling to our absolute Trinity Creator. The heart is the most powerful source of electromagnetic energy in the magnificent human body. The human heart is oneness with the resonant frequency of Earth. All measured by Schumann resonances, quasi-standing electromagnetic waves that exist in the cavity between the surface of the Earth and the ionosphere. Though several frequencies occur between 6 and 50 cycles per second at a fundamental frequency of 7.83 Hz. The Earth cavity is naturally excited by energy from lightning discharges and radio atmospheric signals or broadband electromagnetic impulse that occurs as a result of natural atmospheric lightning discharges. This causes the Earth ionosphere cavity to ring like a bell at specific frequencies, resulting in peaks in the noise spectrum. Schumann resonances are not measurable all the time but have to be excited to be observed. They are primarily related to electrical activity in the atmosphere, particularly during times of intense lightning activity. At any given moment, about 2,000 thunderstorms roll over Earth, producing some 50 flashes of lightning every second. Each lightning burst creates electromagnetic waves that begin to circle around Earth, captured between Earth's surface and a boundary about 60 miles up. Some of the waves, if they have just the right wavelength, combine, increasing in strength, to create a repeating atmospheric heartbeat known as Schumann resonance. This resonance provides a useful tool to analyze Earth's weather, its electric environment. These frequencies can affect the human body by going through brain waves and bioenergetic field of the crystalline body tower grounded to Earth's surface, through the pineal gland, heart and body cell, and have potential healing abilities through the gamma, beta, alpha, theta, and delta waves. The human body is designed in a Trinity cross. The sacred pineal gland has been stolen and hijacked from the Trinity Creator of oneness. It is wrongly called the third eye in Masonic Egyptian mythology religion worship of Isis the serpent, and Osiris with Ra as Lucifer. El Hebrew god fallen to earth as Black Naga with the 33 mythology gods and goddess of destruction Kali Mar, Vatican Muslim, Satan, Saturn moon worshippers. All followers of New Age religion are also deceived by the satanic Kundalini serpent worship of fake gods of illusion out of Hinduism and Buddhism and all other religions. The use of fluoride and other drugs in the United States have been destroying the pineal gland since 1945. Millions of American Gentiles are in mental stupors and enslaved into believing in the fake satanic gods of Egyptian Israel and American churches. Billions of Gentiles of all races have been deceived by Satan in not seeing the colors and knowing their absolute creator of oneness. The flexible 33 vertebrae encapsulates the enormous bioelectric current of human spinal cord to operate the human body through the brain organic computer. In scripture parable, the vertebrae spinal cord is referred to as Jacob's ladder. It is a number 6 torus that spirals is like a 639 DNA strand upward like a staircase to heaven. The structure of the human body is designed by the Trinity Creator into over 130 groups of 3 with remarkable frequency and not including all the structural triangles. There would be no life on planet Earth without sunshine, oxygen, and water. The sun contains all the natural elements of life and sun consists mainly of hydrogen atoms. Water consists of tiny particles called molecules.
I know that so many people in this world have never experienced or seen a miracle. I want to explain today how the miracle came to me of 20/20 vision, of sight, perfect vision and beyond, out of nature, out of loving the Creator, our Trinity Creator, out of tears of sorrow where the Creator heard me. Meaning this is not a source as in sorcery. It means it's not some type of magnetic field or whatever the scientists want to call it. It is a human feeling creator of all humans on this planet. All of the humans, every race of humans that it's created. At 18 years old on a high school tennis. And 10 years ago, I entered qualifying for the U.S. Open at age 65. And It wasn't that I expected to win, I just wanted to participate in the game. Well, what is amazing through my life and the things that's happened, and I call it the blueprint of my life, or maybe it's called the destiny of my life. When I was 23 years old in the United States, I enrolled in a class of child education. The professor taught the entire semester through self-hypnosis. The professor taught each individual in the class how to hypnotize ourselves by looking at a single dot and going through a mind control process of getting in a hypnotic state. We all made very good grades. It was a wonderful experience to learn that. Then, years later, I kept doing this to relax and everything. And then in tennis, I decided that this was the way to play tennis. And many tennis players, professional players, will realize it's called the zone. And when you get into the zone, you're so focused on the ball as a pinpoint on the court. You're focusing and you're seeing where the ball is going to be going. But the zone, before a match, you visualize every stroke that you're going to have in the match, how you're going to play the match before the match is played. And sometimes a player will get in this zone. It's an out-of-body experience of the subconscious. The subconscious can play perfect tennis without any effort. It's an amazing feeling and experience to have. Now, the next state of this is through this miracle of 20/20 vision. Reading small print at 75 years old without needing glasses is the most incredible thing in my life. And I know that people don't want to believe in miracles, but the Creator gives us miracles. And I want to do this as my testimony to the Creator of how powerful this source is. And when you start working with it every day, how more powerful it becomes within your life and within your Whenever we practice every day, like over the past 4 years, of silent meditation, of not crossing legs like in a Kundalini or Hindu position, just naturally listening in nature, maybe sometimes listening to music, this beautiful music, that will help us get out of our bodies into an OBE or out-of-body experience. And it isn't necessary for us to have a near-death experience to have white light or to visualize the white light. It can be done within our bodies. It does exist. It's a white healing light that we all have for self-healing. As remarkable as this sounds, I can say it's true. Through integrity of my word, it is true that we have all this in our bodies. We have the 7 colors of the rainbow. We have a white light that is activated within our bodies. So what we see on real meditation, we see inside our bodies. We're not seeing a hallucinogenic thing outside of our bodies that isn't going any further than worshiping the serpent, like the Hindus are into the serpent worship and the Kundalini. So this is totally different. This goes beyond that. It goes out of the astral zone. This goes up to the Creator, beyond that. And every single day, the more we practice, the more that we continue reprogramming our brains with I am that I am. I am that I am. And we look up. We don't look down. We're not in resignation or we're going to be defeated. We have no fear. We have no fear because you have no fear of death. And especially when you live in integrity and honesty, the Creator knows our hearts. So anyone who is an honest person, has integrity, no matter where they are in the world, they don't have to be in religion, a church, or nowhere. Most churches are corrupt. They're controlled by Satan and are all about money. But when people have this in nature and a connection, miracles happen. And they see things every day, beautiful things. You see the real matter. You see what nature is. You see the matter coming into your eyes, into the magnificent eyes that we have. Like our eyes with all of the cones and the spheres, we have an infinite amount of color, just like the Creator. We have a palette of infinite color that we use to see things, and it's real. It's not hallucinogenic. It's not a lie. And the world that we live in as humans today, as the human race, as human Gentiles, is a fake world of hallucinogenic gods, of gods that are mythology. That's nothing is real, because that's what Satan wants us to believe, is nothing is real, as he takes over this world and tries to get rid of humanity.
Way I can tell you that I am conscious is through some sort of action, either by, telling you or by demonstrating. If you take something like so-called disorders of consciousness, vegetative state, minimally conscious state, you don't have those things with some of these patients. They are, by definition, unable to produce the sorts of responses that the rest of us would use to demonstrate that we were conscious.
For Dr. Owen, what began as a simple study of consciousness turned into an unprecedented discovery. He conducted tests on a 23-year-old woman in a vegetative state. The results have revolutionized science's understanding of the brain.
She was the victim of a road traffic accident and had been examined periodically for 5 months, and on each examination had all of the necessary criteria for a diagnosis of vegetative state. So we put her in the fMRI scanner, and we asked her to imagine playing a game of tennis. In this scan, when you hear the word tennis, I want you to imagine standing on a tennis court playing a game of tennis. We picked this task because it's something that we've tried many times in healthy volunteers, and we know this produces quite a specific activation in an area in the middle and the front of the brain called the supplementary motor area. And this area controls upper body movements, and if you lie in the scanner and imagine moving your body around as you would if you were playing a game of tennis, you get very strong activation in this area of the brain. So while she was in the scanner, we instructed her that when she heard the word tennis, we'd like her to start imagining this task and carry on until we said rest. And when we did this, her brain activated just like a healthy volunteer. So on this basis, we concluded that she wasn't vegetative at all. She was entirely consciously aware. That was pretty exciting. We had another task that we used. It was important to show that this wasn't just an automatic reaction, but if we changed the task, the brain activation would change. So we used a type of spatial navigation task where we asked her to imagine moving from room to room in her house. And this pretty much always activates an area deep inside the brain called the parahippocampal gyrus in healthy volunteers. Never seen it before in a vegetative patient, but nonetheless, when we asked her to imagine moving from room to room in her house, the parahippocampal gyrus activated just as it would in a healthy volunteer.
Owen's groundbreaking work opens new questions about where consciousness begins and ends. Is too complex.
AI is very interesting. You can't make a horse out of feathers. It would be very tough to make a computer out of cloth. And you can't make a conscious mind out of silicone chips.
Constructing a human brain will require a computer 1,000 times more powerful than any currently in existence. It would take at least 3 football fields to house such a computer. But Markram says the goal is within reach, to create a conscious artificial intelligence.
The data is there, the technology is there to explore it.
In America, belief in reincarnation is growing. Part of this is driven by celebrities who, say they believe in reincarnation. Julia Roberts recently told Elle magazine that she thought of herself as very Hindu, and she talked about her daughter and how her daughter clearly embodied somebody else. My personal opinion is that Americans like reincarnation because, comparatively speaking, life here is good. And it's one thing to want heaven, which is an eternal destination somewhere else, when life is bad on Earth and you want to get out.
Reincarnation is Satan's biggest negative harvest deception of phony superficial plastic Hollywood actors, scripted puppets and false prophets seduced into Luciferian New Age light worship of the Kundalini serpent and multiple fake gods. Lucifer became Satan Black Death in the Brotherhood of the Serpents. Satan is an arrogant psychopath who greedily deceives to take all low negative immoral souls to the black sun duality for infinity. Negative attracts negative. Positive energy attracts positive energy to the real sun of the Trinity Creator. Free to soar as spirit soul consciousness. In oneness throughout the universe. It was discovered through the CIA Nazi Montauk project that the human mind is fractured through the utmost levels. It creates a symbol with the mind pattern. A cube compartment that creates 2,197 possible compartments that can be programmed to various altered number of personalities in a person. They knew that people with light complexion, blue eyes, lighter hair had an enzyme in their DNA allowing for more programming to take place. More capacity in the mind's hard drive. Anyone owning several dogs experience different personalities, souls, in each dog. Human mothers and fathers see the same, soul, difference in children in the same family. Seems reasonable one or more of these personalities or souls is created in the baby's embryo at conception. The spirit white light electrical spark in the human heart is universal in all animal life. In the Matrix film, a scene of eye candy for Satan's minions depicts a baby connected with tubes or injections going into its body. The Protocols of Zion in 1884 states, "When they give birth, we will inject poisons into the blood of their children and convince them it's for their health. We will start early on when their minds are young. We will target their children with what children love most, the sweet things. When their teeth decay, we will fill their teeth with metal that will destroy their mind and steal their future. When their ability to learn has been affected, we will create medicine that will make them sicker and cause other diseases, which we will create yet more medicines." Today 2020, the Lord Rothschild Nazi Zionist satanic Israelis have lied to the 7 billion plus Gentile humans about a common flu virus that has a 98% cure rate and only a little over 1 million deaths worldwide in a year as the demons prey on babies and children. 7 million children are lost annually. The human race is the Neo with quantum brains. In movie Matrix, Morpheus states to Neo, "Recall Neom in Saudi Arabia from Hotel California, take the blue pill and story ends. You wake up in your bed and believe whatever you want to. You take the red pill and you stay in Wonderland and I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes. Remember, all I am offering is the truth. Not really. What is real and how do you define real? Smell, taste, and see, then real is actually electrical signals interpreted by your brain. AI a single intelligence that spawned a race of machines. This is a lie because the AI has been created by satanic CIA dissecting human bodies to build artificial intelligence to build the computers. Only in nature do the eyes see the real physical mass designed by the absolute Trinity Creator. The purple pill LSD in 60s captured minds into a fake psychedelic New Age religion matrix world of Satan. That the human body generates more bioelectricity than a 120-volt battery and over 25,000 BTUs of body heat. Who know if this is a scientific fact? What we do know out of the absolute knowledge in this documentary is that a human with 100% pure body cell vibrating in the oneness of our Creator may emit possibly unlimited energy. The cell battery is designed from the human organic body. The top of the battery is the positive and the bottom of the battery is the negative. More proof we are superhuman. The hidden hand of human harvesting government parasites never switches off human batteries. Billions of weak cell-minded humans are controlled by brainwashing elites and fake media lying propaganda. This creates division and chaos through drugs, wars, increased taxes, crime, pollution and so on that shortens lives with negative low-level stress frequencies. These low-level negative frequencies cause diseases and multi-billion trillion-dollar profits for the medical pharmaceutical complex and industrial military complex. Prediction: 5G installation worldwide will require face shields with face mask mandate from satanic WHO serpent.
There is a huge secret no alternative media source is reporting about the coronavirus. The name corona is derived out of the cornea in the human eye. Human aura photography with Kirlian, Kirlian, detects the body's bioenergy field through the eyes. Kirlian photography is a collection of photographic techniques used to capture the phenomenon of electrical coronal discharges. It is named after a Russian, Semyon Kirlian, who in 1939 accidentally discovered that if an object on a photographic plate is connected to a high voltage source, an image is produced on the photographic plate. Tesla was one of Kirlian's predecessors in the field of corona discharge photography. The Kirlian cameras are very expensive. As an alternative, we have been experimenting with an app called Aura and Energy. This app works through the vibrational electrical energy emitted in the human eye as you look into the cell phone. It provides 2 aura readings related to the right feminine love side and left masculine hate side of the brain. When tested after 30 minutes of silent meditation, the aura reading on both brain hemispheres are equally balanced in calmness and love. When it was tested on our dog, it simply does not work. It requires human eyes. Now here's the shocking news. The human eye emits corona energy white light. There is much more electromagnetic energy in your human eye at any one moment from the infrared radiation you're emitting yourself than the pittance of visible light you get from the outside world. Now understand this, between 100,000 and 1,000,000 times as much. I'll repeat it. The human eye emits infrared radiation, electromagnetic energy, 100,000 and 1,000,000 times more than the visible light from the visual world. We are authentic, organic superhumans. Now hear this kicker. Long exposure photograph of corona discharge on an insulator string of 500 kV overhead power lines used in electric power transmission and distribution to transmit electrical energy across long distances. Human corona discharges represent a significant power loss in electric utilities. I'll repeat this. Human corona discharges represent a significant power loss for electric utilities. This is amazing. Organic, powerful human eyes are a deterrent to the black cult's installation of their artificial intelligent 5G towers across long distances. We humans have already been operating in these frequency ranges in microwaves, Wi-Fi, and cordless phones for years. These 5G towers operate on the same hard power limited by traces on boards and wires powering the overall device. These Darth Vader black cult demons do not want organic human corona discharges to interfere with their 5G towers installation. How does the cult solve this problem? Easy. They market fear propaganda to con the brainwashed goy into wearing plastic face shields and bacteria-soaked masks in crowded cities across the world. Notice the movie Matrix that all the men in dark suits wear sunglasses. Their eyes cannot take in the bright natural sunlight. Black color code of Satan's left brain, intellect, reptilian, cold bloodline, absent of life, mixed with 1/2 color code creates the sub-gray bloodlines. Therefore, many Hollywood stars are always seen wearing sunglasses.
I first met him in the early 80s in a Chinatown of urban Java. He didn't want his real name or address revealed, so we called him DJ for Dynamo Jack. He was only a healer, he said, but he did direct a powerful energy generated from his own body into his patients. Sometimes he used the needles, sometimes just his hands. He called the energy chi, and it was so strong that he usually needed a grounder to hold his patients' feet. For years, we followed him around Java on his healing rounds, pleading to be allowed to film him, but he always refused, saying his powers resulted from a type of meditation with an ancient tradition of secrecy. It was only when my brother Lorne was suffering from a serious eye infection that he finally allowed us to film him in 1987.
It was nothing like any acupuncture I'd ever had. I was getting really powerful electric shocks and couldn't control my movements at all.
Yin yang, positive and negative, you know. And my positive from here and my negative from here. And we meet together, this can get like electricity.
And is this because you're special? You have a special sort of
It's called meditation every day.
It's meditation that does it?
Meditation every day. Like you can touch me, like this. It's nothing, okay? It's my burn. It's like this.
For our sound recordist, it was also a shocker. He then took our newspaper outside and showed us how qi can also be used to set things on fire. When he heard we'd shown this footage in public, he was very upset and refused all our future efforts to contact him again. As the years passed, we sadly resigned ourselves to never seeing him again. My brother Lorne never did, for by 1997 he was already dead when I again found myself with DJ, now treating me for an eye problem. But it wasn't this that brought me back. He had tracked me down out of the blue and invited me to tell me a story. He had just returned from 2 years on a deep meditational journey, alone in the heart of Borneo. Amongst his revelations, he had seen, he said, how history was moving on into great change, and the old wisdom was vanishing. So he'd called me back to film just enough of him to remind us that we all have undreamed of powers sleeping within us, and that there's nothing special about him except for his training in waking them. Grounding this patient, my cameraman Joe is having to use all his weight to keep contact. The qi is pushing him away. He seems able to control the amplitude of this qi, like a dimmer switch, and it causes uncontrollable responses in the patients and their grounders.
I can barely keep my hand on you. It wants to fly off. The electricity so strong.
This mother unwittingly grounds her child. He won't sit still, so she's asked to hold him and grin and bear it. Sometimes signs of this passing energy can be seen in the transmitter too. This qi stuff is only the surface, he says, of the real adventure beneath, in the meditational technique. Projecting qi from the palm of the hand can also be used to resist rifle pellets, he says. First, you learn to distinguish between yin and yang qi in your body. Then how to pool it in your navel chakra. Then how to project it, he says. And it's the proportionate mixture between yin and yang which accounts for different effects, like pulling or pushing objects or igniting them. Then he gets really strange. He says that mastering yin qi is the key to the spirit world. There's a long tradition of Indonesian krisis being possessed by spirits. So people bring him their krisis to see if they're duds. Here, he says, he doesn't manipulate matter by projecting mixtures of yin and yang qi. He merely creates a field of yin energy in which, he says, if there's a spirit, it can manifest itself. So I invited a small group of scientists back from the United States with measuring equipment to test if DJ was for real. And if so, where might this energy belong on the electromagnetic spectrum? Catherine Cook, CEO of the Mind Science Foundation in Texas. Dr. Roger Nilsson, a Swedish medic and international racing sailor. Dr. Greg Simpson, a physicist from New York's Albert Einstein University. And Andreas Polak, one of DJ's Australian students. The visitors are confident they'll uncover him as a fraud in no time. Greg is the first guinea pig, and he's uncomfortable about showing that he can feel anything at all. Dr. Roger doesn't know what to expect. Out comes the metal detector, like the things they use in airports, to see if he has any concealed metal in his body. Then the voltmeter, to try and measure the chi. But how to get it to work? Where's the ground? What settings? DJ suggests that as his negative is his perineum and his positive is his navel chakra, perhaps that's where the electrode should be attached. He doesn't stand on his dignity. He's eager to help, but still no readings. They're getting shocks off his arm, and now they're on the right settings, but the needle still isn't moving. DJ says it isn't electricity, it's chi.
It's 1, 2, up. I feel it in my whole body. I feel it at 3, 0.3. I feel it in my legs. Shit.
But suspecting there's some tricky setup on his premises they can't find, they insist we all go to a randomly chosen hotel room several miles away to see if he can light a light bulb with his fingers. It doesn't ground on the wall. So Greg holds and grounds one wire, while DJ pumps chi through the other. The bulbs are LEDs, light-emitting diodes, which ignite in different colors according to the intensity of current.
Yes. On, off, on.
Brilliant.
Oh, you're blinking.
Things were going well. DJ was enjoying it too, until he invited us all out to lunch at his local, where he tried to push a chopstick through the table. He couldn't get it through the formica surface, so he came up through an inch of wood from underneath. Not only did he draw his own blood, but a chopstick splinter had caught Alison here between the eyes, drawing more. The incident was laughed off apologetically, but next morning he was a different man, drawn and upset. He said he'd been visited all night by his long-dead master, raging that he'd broken the strict taboos of his sect, never to show off in public and never to cause harm or draw blood. He felt deeply chastised. All further testing and filming must end. Never again would he submit to public scrutiny, nor accept any new students. He would sink from sight and continue his healing in obscurity, as he had done since before we met him in the early 80s.
Reported on January 3, 2003. An Indian man, who claims to have survived only on liquids and sunlight for 8 years, has been invited by NASA to show them how he does it. Hira Ratan Manik, a 64-year-old mechanical engineer who lives in the southern state of Kerala, apparently started disliking food in 1992. In 1995, he went on a pilgrimage to the Himalayas and stopped eating completely on his return. His wife said, every evening he looks at the sun for 1 hour without batting an eyelid. It is his main food. Occasionally he takes coffee, tea or some other liquid. Last June, scientists from the US Space Agency verified that Manik spent 130 days surviving only on water. They even named this subsistence on water and solar energy after him, the Hira Ratan Manik phenomenon. Mr. Manik is now in the US to show NASA's scientists how he survives without food. The U.S. Space Agency hopes to use the technique to solve food storage and preservation problems on its expeditions. The report said, Mr. Manek said he eats through his eyes in the evening, when the sun's ultraviolet rays are least harmful. He and his wife claim the technique is totally scientific. However, doctors warn that staring at the sun can make you blind. His wife said, he has a special taste for sun energy. He believes only 5% of human brain cells are used by most people. The other 95% can be activated through solar energy.